Every job I ever worked at was always the best one. So I was like, all right, cool. I'm gonna get to the closing road real quick. And I'm gonna make it's like $250,000. You know what I'm saying? Like you do that. So I'm like, all right, cool. Bet.
What is up, my friends? What's up, my friends? Back at it again. Another live episode of the G Money Machine down here in Dallas at Squad Up Summit. Super excited to have my man Mike Davis with us, Mr. Sub2 Cars himself. Got a lot of cool stuff that we're gonna chat about here. So I know we recently did a virtual G Money Machine on Zoom, but I knew when I was booking a spot that there was one person we had to get in the studio with. Me and Daniel was gonna be you. I was like, we're gonna have some fun with this one.
Yeah.
So obviously we already got to know a little bit about your background, but for anybody that maybe didn't get to catch the Zoom one, tell us just a quick summary of some of your background prior to real estate.
Yeah, prior to real estate. So I come from the music space, more entertainment industry. I'm a creative at heart. Cool. I play a lot of instruments, that kind of thing. Had success in the mainstream, but obviously money is sparing. It's difficult, you know what I mean? So always had the gift of gab when it came to sales and stuff like that. That was the corporate background and that kind of thing. So everything, door to door to, you know, windows, door siding, the phones to compliance materials, like the whole nine, whatever case. And the last one that I had was a finance company, but that was the last W-2 that I was like, all right, I cannot let nobody else tell me how much I can make, limit my potential and things like that. So left there and then jumped headfirst into real estate.
There we go. So I love the gift of gab statement. I've been saying that myself for years. I've gotten this far in life just because I can talk real well about it. And no other skills besides that. They just all grow from there, you know? And then I've been also selling my whole life, sold a whole bunch of stuff. So I can just, even before you told me all that, you just know, when you know it about somebody, you can just tell, like, this guy's a hustler. He can sling some stuff. He can move some stuff. So what was your favorite thing, just before we get into the real estate, prior to moving in this direction, what was the role that you had, the job that you had that you actually enjoyed the most?
That I enjoyed the most?
Yeah.
I don't know if I really enjoyed the job.
He's like, I enjoyed the paycheck. That's all that matters.
Yeah, no, for real, I enjoyed the paycheck. I mean, it was funny though, because it's actually more the last job that I had, I thought it was dope because, so it was a startup funding business, right? Okay. And they were the #1 rated one in the country at the time, like 4 years strong or whatever. And they were a startup themselves. Just seeing like how they were able to help people who otherwise wouldn't be able to get something, that they have great ideas, no funding behind it. This company focused on making sure that people was in that position, and the environment was chill. Yeah. Like, I ain't gonna hold you, we were lick on Fridays, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, just to have better sales calls on the phone and stuff like that. We had parties and all that kind of stuff. It was chill. It was in Beverly Hills. Cool. So like the environment, everything was cool. Like when it comes to that, if I had to say I like the job, that'd probably be it.
Do you think that kind of encouraged you down the entrepreneurial path, being like related directly to startups, like seeing others chase that journey? You think that pushed you down that direction?
Kind of, sort of. I mean, I wouldn't say it was like the sole purpose, but it was like another catalyst along the way. You know what I mean? Like, I've always been a person that didn't want to stay in a box. You know what I'm saying? Like, just being a creative at heart is always like, we want to try something new. But I think, you know, at that time, I kind of had some permission to just be like, all right, cool. If all these other motherfuckers is doing it, you know what I'm saying? They're getting money. Like, all right, cool. Maybe I can, you know, do that too. And like I said, it was the pressure, like, all right, y'all playing with my money now. Yeah. So it was like, that was the last time I was ever gonna let nobody play with me, and like, fuck it, why not? Plus, most of the people that were there, like being cool with the CEO and being cool with the vice president and stuff like that, and just seeing how their minds work, I'm like, y'all are not that different from me. So that worker to like employee-employer mindset shift, it started, you know, kind of around that point.
I love that you said I kind of had permission, right? I think I'm a big social media guy, obviously, you know that. I believe that social media nowadays gives us permission, right? Yeah. It used to be that to be the CEO, you had to be up on this ivory tower and nobody ever saw you. You didn't see the real day-to-day life of people that ran large-scale businesses, and like you just didn't get access to it. But nowadays with social media, you can see anybody, right? I'm no different. I'm smoking weed out here before we're shooting this, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm no different than anybody else. But you can see me now. You can see access. You can say, well, if he can do that shit, well, so the hell can I? Well, what's holding me back from doing that? I know you did some digital stuff as well after playing ball, Daniel. So like, you get to see the same thing. Like, I can do, if they can do it, I can do it too, right?
Yeah, no, for sure, man. And shoot, I'm not an ads guy. It's funny. It's no joke, bro. But I built this e-commerce business. It was Wise E-commerce, bro. Didn't know nothing about ads, bro. this shit went bonkers, bro. And I'm like, oh damn, Google does work. YouTube does work, bro. But yeah.
Sometimes you just got to have that faith to jump out on your own, right? So what was the thing then that you said, all right, this is enough, I'm out? Was it just like a gradual thing for you? Or was it like a...
Nah, it was an opportunity. The pay scale is so different. So it was like from opener to closer. We know now like it's closer. You got appointment setters. Basically what opener was, right?
Yeah.
So the pay scale on that, trash, obviously, but every job I ever worked at was always the best one. So I was like, all right, cool. I'm going to get to the closer role real quick and I'm going to make it's like $250,000, you know what I'm saying? Like you do that. So I'm like, all right, cool, bet. Sign me up, you know what I mean? But then the way that they would do it, they would train different classes of people to come in. So you had to wait your opportunity. And there were some people that they would let skip the line way before me, like earlier on. But I knew them people and I was like, yeah, I'm better than you. So I know they're going to help me do that same shit. I'm going to skip the line. But whatever the case was, it wasn't even about skipping the line. Then they started delaying stuff and it was like, yo, I'm not finna be making this open. So I need to do something different. I put my eggs in that basket. I used to drive 3 hours in the morning from Fontana to Beverly Hills. You had to leave traffic. It was like a 5 to 10 minute window. If you didn't leave at a certain amount of time, be the difference between you taking 2 hours or 3 hours. So I had to get up at like 3:45 in the morning just to get down there to be there at 6:30, you know what I'm saying? And then on the other side was going back, traffic was 2.5 hours. So it's like, I'm fully invested in it. You know what I mean? I'm like, all right, cool, because I know where the money gonna be at, and then they play when I'm like, bro, I can't do this. You know what I'm saying? So it was like, yeah, it was a done deal from that. That was really like the kicker. Like, all right, I'm out.
Yeah. Well, so then what was once you were out? What was the first step then?
Or during the time, which I never recommend anybody doing this, so don't ever do that. But during the time, like where I knew it was gonna be a switch, I was YouTube University, another ways to get money. Started learning about Airbnb and wholesaling and things like that. And I took the leap, and just by the grace of God, the pandemic came at the same time. So it was like stimulus checks and everything was going. You know what I'm saying? I'm staying with some of my peoples and stuff like that, and just using the stimulus money to survive and invest in things like that. And then it took a minute. Finally got a first wholesale deal, and then all started going from there.
There we go. And having that sales background, once you got it with wholesale, once you learned that product knowledge, you learned how to deliver it. I'm sure it was easy.
It was easy after that point. Yep.
That's dope.
Yep.
That's dope. So I mentioned earlier, you're the Sub2 Car Guy. I know everybody knows you that way, whether you intentionally branded that way or it just happened through execution. That was not intentional. But you know what? It's there now. You got to be able to use it to your advantage. Tell us how it moved from real estate to what you do now.
Yeah. So initially, joining Sub2, like after the first wholesale deal that I did a couple more after that, and then started learning about creative finance and just the fact that you can do something without a bank or anything like that, right? So learned the creative finance game from a different investor, and then eventually heard about PACE. YouTube University, how to close a creative deal, and got some contracts and shit like that. Closed it, used the money to join Sub2. At that point, I was like, all right, cool, I get the point now, and I started closing a couple more. We ended up like closing deals like 12 different states, like all over. I was hustling, right? But then it was like, all right, I'm cash rich, I'm credit poor.
Yeah.
And I want a car. Yeah. And at the same time, Pace was talking about like you can really sub to anything. I'm gonna get the Sub2 Car docs for everything. And then he eventually dropped them in the group, which I think was like 2022, like early 2022. And he didn't explain anything. He usually explains all of the stuff that he does. Like if there's a new strategy, it's like, all right, cool, we're gonna have Zooms, we're gonna have, meetings, we're gonna have process and everything like that. And just for the car, he didn't do anything. So I was like, well, fuck it, I need a car. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, all right, cool. If I can sell, so I can get somebody to get me to, take the payments on their car or whatever the case, or seller finance. I don't know how to do it, but I'm gonna learn these documents, reverse engineer the shit. Downloaded it, Googled everything on like what it all meant, then started talking to insurance agents from different companies and like, okay, how can this actually work? Calling around different DMVs around the country, like, yo, how does this shit actually work? And I got so many mixed reviews where they was like, you can do this, but like, gotta do it a certain kind of way. I've seen people, so it was a lot of, it wasn't nobody saying no, and it wasn't nobody saying like, yeah, hell yeah, here's exactly how you do it. So that's when I had realized like it's not technically Sub2 when it comes to it, so that's a technical conversation, but it was, okay, cool, I'm gonna go ahead, try it. And went on Facebook Marketplace, long story short, failed, first time. I needed a car, so I went and got one. But probably 3 days later, it was a meetup down in Orange County. And my guy, Richard knows, I always tell the story, but we were talking after the meeting, and I was like, yo, man, Paige dropped the docs on the cars, man. I really want to get a car. I had to get this bullshit from this shit, whatever. But like, y'all really want to, he was like, yo, did you try the Turo groups? Oof. And I was like, why didn't I think of that? Because at the same time, the whole, like this was during the time that like everything was high, but interest rates was low, but then the shift started happening. So everything started going down. and a lot of people were underwater. So they were stuck with these cars, and at the same time, Turo's platform was messing up. There was plenty of motivated sellers. You know what I'm saying? At that point, it was like, oh, damn, I might as well just go ahead and do that. So I went home, made a post in the group, shit went viral. One post, 8 words. I will take over your car payments, don't care if it's underwater. You know what I'm saying? And like, that shit went crazy. And it was like, yo, awesome. I'm talking about from exotics to basics and everything in between. And I was like, yo, ain't no way. Like hundreds of cars. I'm like, all right, cool. I started messaging the people. How easy it was to close them deals was I was like, yo, no script, no nothing. And they was like, yeah, I'll keep the loan in my name. Yeah, cool. And I was like, I bet. It's the same thing. And then I was like, all right, cool. Light bulb went off. Way bigger problem than myself. So, you know, starting from there, going to the buy side, just wholesaling at that point, going to the buy side, same thing. That went viral, and it was like, all right, cool, we have to come up with a process that really makes sense. So now the rubber started meeting the road, but everybody that I was doing it with, all of them were like, yo, this is genius. Like, if you could really do this, and then every single time it kept happening, we would learn more. Like, we failed. We've had situations that have gone left. We had situations that plenty that have gone right and everything in between. But learning the process, we really started to refine it. And then it started becoming like, it was a side hustle. Like, all right, cool, I can make some real extra cash, some active cash real quick, like a couple thousand, 10,000, whatever a case a month, just on the side. It was like, as it went on, I started just telling people about what I was doing, telling people how to do it, telling people what not to do, that kind of thing. Just adding as much value as I could in the community. And, you know, like I said, the power of the community. Yeah. It just continued to be like, all right, cool, he's the guy for that, because nobody else was doing it. Yeah. So then it just kept on going and spiraling, and that's when I think, especially with the economy shift too, it started getting much worse, and people were like, yo, I have to get rid of this car. Somebody help me, and it was like, people just like, yo, Mike, because we were just tagging all the time. And that's where people just like, yo, he's a Sub2Car Guy and all this shit like that.
All of a sudden like, you got it.
Okay, I guess, you know what I mean? But like I said, the business itself, it started to, like I realized the problem was much more than cars. Yeah. And outside of like the other asset classes like cars, trucks, boats, RVs, stuff like that. Like it's way deeper than that. I think that the issue is that with the traditional system, and like inflation's crazy, interest rates are crazy, affordability is extremely crazy. That's why we're talking co-living, we're talking all these different strategies to help with affordable housing, affordable living, period, just as a regular person, being able to buy some damn eggs. Like you gotta be able to help people understand that there's a different way of doing things. That the traditional system, all the traditional system is one person's idea of creative finance spread across everybody and say this is the standard. Yeah. Which all creative finance is just, yo, you learning what levers to twist, what things to do to make a deal, and then you do it. You can do it however you want to do it. That's it. And they just figure, okay, we're gonna say this is the best way to do it. So that's that. But if you learn what goes on behind the scenes, you can do the same shit. Yeah. And you can twist and turn and do anything you want. So I think, you know, learning that from all of these different asset classes with vehicles, it started to make it clearer, like, okay, cool, we need more education. We need platforms to make it easier. Because right now, how do you get a creative deal? Yeah. You got to know somebody. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, from this point, it's like, all right, cool. Well, like with the vehicles and it being is already risky in and of itself, but we're very transparent. We make it very easy for anybody to understand what that process is, and we continue to build on it. So that's where the application came from with Seller Finance. Yeah. The IO with my partner Vitaly, and it was like, all right, cool. We're gonna build a platform. We can do this where anybody can go buy a car, sell a car, buy a house, sell a house, buy a business, sell a business, like all on one platform, so that we educate people, help people understand how to do this stuff, so that they have no more barriers. They have no more like roadblocks, and they don't have to go with a system that sticks to them to say, you don't do this, then, you know what I mean, there's nothing else.
Bro, there was so much game in that. There's so much game in that.
Dictionary.
So like the thing that stuck out to me as you were talking is that like as being that, you know, Daniel and I lead newbies on a daily basis, we lead a whole lot of people that have never done anything in the space. Yeah. And the number one thing that I see is that they come and they say, help me, show me what to do, right? Nowhere in that story that you outlined did you go to somebody and say, help me, show me what to do. You said, I jumped on YouTube University. I jumped on Google. I went and found the answers. And then as you just kept talking through your story, you realized how like you being an action taker, having initiative, you go find the answer. And this is what creates good leaders, good entrepreneurs. Is you go find the answer and you're like, well, shit, now I can see further. And then you go further and then you find a new answer. And then you just keep pushing that forward. And now you've got this identity as this guy, Sub2Car Guy. You've got sellerfinance.io. You've got this whole brand identity that you've created for yourself, which if you rewind back, you had no idea about. You didn't go intentionally say, I'm going to be the Sub2Car Guy. You just kept asking yourself questions and finding the answer. And the difference between people that get shit done and get to where you're at and where we're trying to go to and things of that nature, and those that sit there and spin their wheels, is being self-driven to go find answers versus help me, give me the answer. I know you can relate to that because I know you know, it's like we lead grown-ups that are often a lot like children, right? And it's like, I love each of you, right? But like you get in this situation, like I need help. And then they turn into a third grader who doesn't know the answer and they act like they don't know how to go find the answer themselves. I'm like, did you stop and like think about what you're asking me right now? Like, did you ask yourself this question before you came and asked me? And I think that that's a skill that's overlooked. And it's what allows guys like me and you and Daniel and all of us really around here to like be top performers, because I'm not going to wait for somebody to tell me the answer. Even Pace, you kind of touched on the Pace stuff too. I love Pace as a mentor. We've spoke a handful of times. I'm not one of his, upper echelon favorites. I'm very similar to him. So, we in some ways are competition. As we grow, we will continue to be, coaching, in some ways. I don't like competition as a mindset, but you understand what I'm saying. But what Pace gave me was permission to like, there's not any rules to this finance thing, right? We call it creative finance. What it is finance. It's just different than what the standard route is. And so when that unlocked for me, I didn't necessarily go the car route, but I'm like, well, damn, I can just use this to anything. I can go to people that have money and I can write creative terms on why they should invest in this startup because I'm the entrepreneur and I got this new idea. And so I'm going to start this deal makers thing. And so instead of going to get, because I wasn't in a position, because my last business crashed and burned and I fucking spent a couple $100,000 to just watch it burn. So I'm like, all right, well, I can't go to the bank and just go get more credit, get more debt. So like, what am I going to do? So Pace gave me this permission. He doesn't even know. I'm like, all right, well, let me just structure some creative shit and see what I can get people to agree to. So I'm like, all right, guys, we got our Spark sponsorship. And then like basically seed investment, like put $10,000 in, I'm going to give you 50% return and we're going to use it to launch this academy program. But instead of just coaching people, we're going to be creative with it. I'm not going to charge them $10,000 because I know most people can't afford that. So instead, we're going to charge them a low ticket, $10 or $147, and then we're going to collaborate and do deals together. That's where we make our money. It's creative versus most coaches are like, pay me money now because this is why I want to get an early collection. I'm like, no, let's be creative with it and structure it differently. Same thing. Like, it's not about how you, like, did I join Sub2 to learn about real estate? Yes. Is that what I got the most value out of it? No. Like, it was like the actual finance strategy, and it's totally changed my trajectory, right? So like, I thought I was just, learning wholesaling and creative finance. Really, I'm a lender. Like my business model, my structure is designed to lend money to others to help them do deals. And I'm like, all right, well, so what's the next creative step for us? And this is where we rolled out the Novations early release. We started signing a bunch of Novations. Another creative strategy. It's awesome. We're going to make more money. Seller's going to make more money. It's going to take 90 days, right? That sucks. People don't want to wait 90 days. So I'm like, all right, well, what can I do? I've got people over here that got money and they want to lend it. And I got people over here that don't got money and they need it fast while they're doing these deals. And so I said, okay, let's structure an early release where we have lenders that put the money down and make a return like you would on EMD, but we put that cash right in the hand of our students so that they can go pay their bills or pay for advertising or whatever they need to. Again, another creative use where most people would look at it in one little box. We now have permission, courtesy of Pace, to like create shit. Like just go, and you mentioned being creative. I'm not a creative by nature in the sense of music or art, but I create business. I create other entrepreneurs. I grow people and things very similar. So when this started to grow for me, I'm like, dude, this is no rules to this. Like, there's obviously some regulations that you got to stay within, but there's really no rules. Like, people come to me like, am I allowed to do this? I'm like, did the seller agree to it? Like, if the seller shook your hand and signed on the line and said yes, then do it. You know what I'm saying? And I think that was the biggest thing that unlocked for me. I know you are like really wanting to learn more about the creative stuff. I know you've asked me a couple of times. We focus a lot on cash and novations. You're like, yo, I want this creative stuff. Like, dude, bro, it's literally just that unlock of your mind. In my opinion, that's what all Sub2 is about, is unlocking your mind of the belief or ability of it is possible. And then if you're an action taker like us, you'll go find it. Like, it's straight like that.
Peeking behind the curtain, bro. Like, that's all creative is. It's like, oh, what are they doing going on back there? And then you learn that, you're like, oh shit, I wish I'd have known this the whole time. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's all it is, bro.
That's facts for sure. So what's the coolest thing that you've been a part of, seller financing or Sub2? Actually, let's dig a little deeper before I ask you this question. You said it's not technically Sub2.
Right, with a car.
So you don't have to go real deep, but tell me a little bit what you mean by that.
Yeah, with a house, mortgage, and title is two separate things. You buy two products when you buy a house, at least traditionally. With vehicles, you're essentially buying the same thing because the lender's going to keep the title. So the lender doesn't give permission for the title to be signed over until it's paid off for the car. So if you bought a car, that's not your car. that you control that car fully. You know what I'm saying? They give you full permission to do basically whatever the hell you want with it, like it's yours. But miss a payment, they taking that shit back. With a house, they have to go through foreclosure and all this extra shit like that to make something happen. So when we say with vehicles, it's not truly sub-2, it's just can't separate it technically. That's the bottom line.
Sure.
So with it, it's literally just taking over payments. Now we use the idea of taking over payments on everything. Like, yeah, just take over the payments on the house or take over the payments on da-da-da-da. Right? So that's where the idea of the top method came in. Very simple. It's like it's understandable. So it's just the actual process of doing so safely. So the top method is a straightforward framework of the safest and most secure process of handling vehicles that do have loans. But it also encompasses the process of seller financing. So if there's no loan, how to make a loan, how to make a lien, how to do all that kind of shit to make it right. So we teach that process for everybody, and that's overall like where the community comes in. That's where overall like a lot of the deals come in, and a lot of cool shit comes from it. Because once people get it, they're like, oh yeah, I got a Lamborghini over here. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, okay, word, cool. Or like, you know what I mean? I got a boat over here. Or I got, this plane. Maybe I might do it. Let me know. You know what I'm saying? So
cool.
Yeah.
So that was actually, I was going to ask you about the top method, but what's the coolest thing that you've helped somebody take over payments on?
I made a few, and I would say my answer keep changing a lot because a lot of times it's like cool with different shit. I will tell you this: it was one particular deal more so than the car, but the terms that it was. So we did a Bentley Bentayga, it was a W12 edition of 2018, and for them at the time it was worth around like 115 or so, like 110, 115. We was doing it. The dude had a loan for around like around 100 basically, 100. But going through this method, he initially was trying to sell it on the market for like 140 or something like that. No hits, obviously, because it ain't worth that. You know what I'm saying? But he wanted what he wanted. Mind you, multimillionaire investor, he doesn't really care. He wanted what he wanted. So we got on the phone, and long story short, we came up with terms. He was like, all right, cool. Well, how about this? If you can sell it for me for 150, I'll take nothing down, because that's where the conversation went.
Nope.
He was like, all right, well, cool. So then we ended up finding him a buyer to go ahead and take it over. Zero down. He got an interest rate on probably like 4% interest rate on his equity, and then the rest was just the rest of the payments. So the deal structure itself was like, oh, that's chills. People out here, the car's worth 120. You typically only sell vehicles for what they are or less because it's depreciating. It's not,
depreciating.
You know what I'm saying? Especially unless it's a rarity or something like that, which a Bentayga's not rarity. So for him, he was able to get that sold for much higher, and you know what I'm saying, make money on the interest for a damn car. I thought that was dope as hell. That was one of the I ain't gonna say it was one of the first. It was an earlier version of the deal. Probably like we're at this point closing about like 140 deals or so. But like probably at that time it was probably like the 15th or 20th deal or something.
Early on.
Yeah, like early on it was like, damn, the possibilities are freaking endless. But yeah, we've done stuff across the board, bro. Now we're working on a plane. We've got we've done a couple boats. We've done shit ton of RVs and a lot of vehicles from all different types of classes. Cool, man.
Bro, all right, you said plane. Your boy, since February 1st, I have driven across the country to Washington. We got with Daniel in Colorado. Went to see my partners in Washington, Zach and the rest of the gang. And we drove back, and then I drove up to North Carolina, then up to Vermont, and about to be down. Now I flew across to Dallas. I've been on the run for years. It's how I live my life, right? Your boy needs a damn airplane. Big time. Big time. Not just me at this point, everybody around. Like, we all could get around if we had it. So, I mean, we're going to have to talk a little bit off screen about how we set this up and where to find a plane. Because to me, like, it's all about content and storytelling. And, Zach behind the camera points at Mason over here because I know we got plugs all over the place to airplanes and things that we need. So I'm like, for me, it's like, it's just like Pace. I'm like, it's an incredible story to tell online. Like, as a marketer, like, hey, we want to buy this thing. We're going to go collaborate because that's what we're all about. We're going to go find a good deal. We're going to make a deal. And now we're going to have this tool, to get around and go help more people do the thing. So, I mean, there's definitely a lot to come for us and how we can work towards that together. I know you're working on expanding your platform. Like, what's the future for what you got going on?
Yep, seller finance. Right now we had the 1.0 version that's available. The 2.0 version is coming super, super slick. But the primary goal, like if I'm talking about Mount Everest, all right? The platform is going to be designed to make it super easy for anybody to come on, but it's going to be so simple. We have AI integration, like we have AI agents that we're working on as well to make it really, really shake for like the actual process so that nothing gets unturned. And no matter the complexity of somebody's question, it's a done deal and all the information is right there. But then making it so that we can run a shit ton of deals.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like right now, I mean, we're on average, we're doing around like 10 to 12 deals a month or so. But ultimately, what we're building the platform for is be able to handle 50 to 100 or even more than that. But as the knowledge of the possibilities of doing this and doing it right become more available, and as people continue to come in, the problems ain't going nowhere.
Yeah.
Especially with the economy. So with people needing the solutions, that's what our platform is going to be serving. So especially not only on the auto side, but like I said, even on the real estate side. So we're going to end up opening it up, and that's one of the things that we will be doing is collaborating with a lot of other investors who want to use the platform and just go ahead. You know what I'm saying? You'll have your own links, your own everything to be able to serve to any of your clients. And it's all right there. They can click, and then we'll handle the TC process, we'll handle everything. You know what I'm saying? It's all on the platform. It's a super easy call. You can just go ahead and collect your check.
That's dope, dude. That's dope. So do you feel like the tech is your constraint to hitting that volume right now? Or is it like...
Nah, I would say we have been, like, I've been very careful to not do the Icarus. You know what I'm saying? Like the momentum and everything, when everybody wants like, holy shit, and then you try to fly too high to the sun and your wings too small. So like one of the things that we have been doing was being like, all right, let me make sure, since this industry isn't like done yet, you know what I'm saying? Like how we were saying before, like you go a little bit more, you learn some more. You're like, okay, that was cool, nothing happened. All right, cool, let's go a little bit further. Oh shit, this does work. You know what I'm saying? So it's like in the meantime, I'm still trying to build it out, and it's like now we have like the understanding. And then it became to the system, and it's like, all right, cool. Now just going on well-operated systems, which there's a lot of steps in the process. This is where AI integration stuff comes in. So we are like actively solving the initial bottlenecks of what is it, how do you do it, then, okay, how do you do it fast, then how do you do it scaled. Now we're at that space where it's like, all right, how do you do it scaled? You know what I mean? And I think from that, some of it is partners, some of it is like, leveraging other talents, and then some of it is literally just, all right, boom, time to dump some money in, we run ads, and pew. You know what I'm saying? It's like something like this is crazy. And we've been very cautious to not do any ads. A lot of our business comes from word of mouth, comes from referrals, and comes from just community. So it's like we'll continue to add value, hand to hand, face to face. People shake my hand, they know who I am, that kind of thing. And then, from there, it's like, all right, we have enough. Now we can turn the water on.
There you go.
You know what I mean?
You've used the word community a couple of times. Tell us about the community that you have. How deep is it? Like, what does it look like?
Yeah, for sure. So right now, the Top Method community is the official Sub2 Car community. And that is 4,000 strong right now. I will continue to build on that. But that's where you can easily learn how to sub to a car, sell a finance car, whatever the case. Anything. You got a jet ski, you got a tractor trailer, so you got a sim, you got whatever the case is, you can come onto the platform, you can come onto the community. We'll show you how to do it. We won't hide anything from anybody. So from that standpoint, it's like when you give and add to the community, they add back. Yeah. And it's the same thing. Like I've learned that from Pace and watching Pace, like especially like giving the stamp of like, okay, cool, this is cool. You can do this as the official Sub2 Car group. It's like I'm not trying to mess it up. So I watch how he moves and how much value I get, and all of us get from the Sub2 space. It's like, all right, there are principles that we can duplicate. You know what I'm saying? So just seeing how community is, like I would not be here without community. It's impossible. You know what I mean? Man,
you were preaching to the choir. I think I got goosebumps when you just said that, because I mean, it's literally the exact same thing on my side. Like I have built businesses, I've made money, but the community is what makes it enjoyable. It's what makes it rewarding on a different level than just making money now. And like being able to give value. And again, like we obviously being at Squad Up, we talk a lot about Pace, but like he is the best community leader around. Period. Right, like he goes far and away. And the thing that like blows my mind still, as someone who leads a lot of people myself, just like you, he'll go and like talk to somebody on a one-on-one level, know their name and their whole story, like he was their best friend. Right. And like that says a lot about a leader, because like it's hard for me how much I move around, all the things that I manage, all the people that I talk to on a daily basis, to like slow down enough to even catch up my train of thought to think about their backstory. But he like truly cares deeply enough to be able to like speak to each person on an individual level. And when you see that from another community leader, same thing that you said, it like sets the standard, the bar of like, well, damn, if I'm going to get up and talk live every day, I better lead with some fucking value. I better supply something that makes people want to like me, because like I can't, if I'm just going out here and asking, you can't hang with somebody like Pace. He's giving. And if you're like, hey, buy my thing, they're like, get the fuck out of here. Everybody wants and is now accustomed to, I say everybody, but like it's funny how it feels like everybody. When you're a part of Sub2, it feels like it's the whole industry. There's just all this other industry outside, but it's like so consuming because of the way that the community comes together as one. And it's like the same thing on my side. Like that's the biggest value point that I pulled out of Sub2 is again, I'm not really one of I'm not one of the Sub2 like favorites, you know, like Alexis Morgan and Kevin Cho, these guys like these that
amazing
like,
folks, by the way.
Yeah, you know, I'm not that. I had my own thing going. I didn't try to be that. But like just the little bit of takeaway that I get to see by being a part of the community has so much reflection into what we have on our community as well. You know? And now we have Daniel as well. And that's another big thing is like being able to bring in other leaders. This is one of the questions I was gonna ask you. Like you mentioned a partner, I think earlier you said, so like you have one partner, or like is there a team around you that helps you get the things done? Because I know I couldn't do it without the people around me.
Yeah, absolutely. There's definitely no way I would do this on my own either. So, so for the platform, I got my partner Vitaly. So he's the one that designed, and we helped build the platform together. So it's
nice
for everybody. When it comes to Top Wheels, is my company that we do the transactions for all of the vehicles. So I've got a couple of TCs on my team, amazing. They're elite in the real estate spaces just as much. So they close the hell out of real estate deals. And they also now are trained on the top method and close all kinds of auto deals. So we got Julie Daniels, we got Amy Horn. We'll be making room for one more, you know, as time comes on. But super elite. I would not be, you know what I'm saying, doing any of this stuff without their help. And I sing their praise at all times. But yeah, we're continuing to build. And as time goes on, we may have one more space for some of the acquisitions and dispositions to make it a little easier as well. And yeah, man.
There we go. What you think, Daniel? I think we should do some kind of deal maker top collaboration where we focus on cars for maybe.
You know not to look at me because look, I've been telling the Mike, bro, we gotta chat. I mean, so you gotta make money, you gotta spend it on something where you get taxed. So like I told Mike, I mean, look, you see how you looking at me?
Hey, easy call.
We gotta connect, bro, for sure. We all win.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, and the thing is, we obviously both have communities, so like, there's a lot of collaboration that can happen on a secondary wave. But for me, I'm all about the story. Like, I would like, let's set some ridiculous goal, like something like up higher than most people set goals, and like, let's make it happen together between the several hundred people that we have now active in our private group and the thousands between all of our Facebook groups. We got like 150,000 people in our Facebook communities. Like, so like we can touch the world. You know, we can do a lot of reach, and so. What we got to do is put some thought to how do we do a cool like collaboration or challenge between what you guys do. So maybe we can do some like co-teaching and get you in a little bit deeper. We do a mini course of some sort for my deal makers and teach them how to go. Not only, obviously, a lot of what we do is about finding leads. So like go find opportunities, which is makes any business move forward. And then through collaboration, just hand it off to the right person that knows how to do it.
Turn into like Discord at that point. We get the acquisition side and we send them to Mike.
That'd be an easy call.
TC's already in place. Y'all know how to get,
My man has the same thing on the car side that we have set up. We are a one-stop shop on the real estate side too. We got the TC, we got the EMD, like literally everything you need to run your wholesale business, we got over here. And everything you need to run the top method, you got right over here with Mike. So I mean, we got to make
that's definitely a state of conversation we're gonna have for sure.
Bro. I'm looking forward to it.
I'm ready. So who I need to tease? I got
We're going to get off camera. We have to plan something. But, Mike, I appreciate you coming to spend time with us, man. I know it's a busy weekend. Lots of stuff going on with Squad Up. I was looking forward to getting in here with you because I knew we vibe well in the same, like, so many ways. But tell anything, last words you want to share with people, and then tell people where they can find you or connect with you on social media.
Yeah, man. You can do anything you set your mind to, man. You ain't got to know it all up front. You just keep on moving. You know what I'm saying? And the biggest thing is just to stay consistent. Don't give up. Even if you get knocked down, just keep on coming back, bro. Everything that we deal with is, as entrepreneurs in this space, getting creative is literally just figuring shit out. So go for it. Don't worry too much. Don't have all the answers. Just know how to find your failures so that you can turn them into lessons. It's not a loss. It's just tuition. Keep on going. You know what I'm saying? That's pretty much what I got. And of course, tap in with me. I'm more than available. DMs wide open at Mike Will Close It on Instagram and Facebook. And come on to, if you want to buy a vehicle, sellerfinance.io. If you want to sell a vehicle, sellerfinance.io. If you want to learn the process, you can come on into the Top Method Facebook community, the official Sub2 Car community. We don't like negativity or no BS coming in, but we will give you everything that you need to make something happen. So come on in.
Yo, I just got to give my man some flowers for the Mike Will Close It, bro. If you a 2000s hip-hop fan, you hear that Instagram handle.
I already know what it is, man. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Mike Will, man.
Mike, man, I appreciate you so much. Guys, go connect with my man online. If you're out there and you're looking for a vehicle and you're like, shit, my credit sucks, I don't know what I'm going to do, here's your solution. Just like we talked about earlier, take action, right? Go do the damn thing. Don't sit and say, hey, help me. Go learn, go jump in this community, go get the game straight from the man himself, and go get what you need. Let's go make some deals, guys. I appreciate all y'all. Let's get it.
Man, 100%.
Yes, sir. Yeah. Boy.
Love it, man.
Love it, man, for sure.